On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Here's the runs of the ones and twos. We got Jeffrey over there in the left corner. Appreciate Ellie sticking around for an extra hour. And now shout out to Jeffrey sticking around another extra hour. Keeping things live for you here at 93.7 The Ticket. You guys are always welcome to join in. Facebook, YouTube, X, Owl Channel 961. We do got the Hall of Fame game going on right now. I should pull up the score. Mighty curious. Obviously, Lions, Chargers, the official start of the NFL season. Now, you still got a bunch of preseason leading up to it, but the official start of NFL preseason ball, 7-14. Chargers currently lead it with about 5 seconds to go in the second quarter. I'm super excited just to go home and watch that. We were just talking about it off air. Like, you got to be a sicko to work in these types of jobs, because you just, you commit to watching sports your entire life, and then you commit to watching the sports that you're not even necessarily interested in to begin with. So it's always great. And that's why I was talking off air. Great crossing bridges. We'll mix in WNBA, NBA, volleyball, college football. And since we didn't talk any college football in the last hour, we had Shorts, wide receiver coach, and then as well as Holgerson, the new offensive coordinator, somewhat new, obviously took over late last season. And then as soon as the season ended, Bad Boy Mowers Bowl, he pretty much pen on ink, got it done. Yeah. Offensive coordinator. He's got quite a few good quotes in there. We'll start with, and I'll kind of bounce some of these off you, Jeffrey, and just get your thoughts on the audio quotes as well. First thing that I want to really get to is that offensive line, because this might be one of the best offensive lines we've seen in a while. You get Spindler, you get Elijah Pritchett, and then obviously they've been very high on Jenkins at that center position as well. So you're liking it, and then you're hearing different comments as well about guys like Gunnar Katula and their development. So let's hear Holgerson comparing this current offensive line to other offensive lines throughout his college tenure.
I don't care what I've done, where I've been, teams I've had. It's always about this and what we got to do to make this the best team that we possibly can, and I just look at it right now and I'm happy with the depth. We got 17 healthy bodies at O-line. We get a third group out there and rep those guys with a bunch of young guys. It doesn't look very good, but they're getting a whole bunch of reps. And that's what young offensive line guys need, is just reps and developmental. And then they need to eat and get in the weight room and worry about those guys here in a couple of years, but for the now and for like the next practice, got 10 good bodies that are all practicing hard, and that gives us an opportunity to coach them and gives them an opportunity to develop.
All right, real quick, want to add to that, more on Holgerson, again, competing for those tackle spots.
Lot better than I felt in January. I looked out there in January and said, geez, this ain't good. Now I look out there and say, okay, there's capable bodies that are able to play. Getting Teddy and Gunner back has developed depth. So, we're just rotating them every couple plays. All those guys, we're going to rotate them, and, hopefully we get Turner back here pretty quick as well. That will add to more depth with it. So, depth and healthy bodies to be able to practice and put them into situations to see who elevates their game. That typically happens throughout the course of camp. One's going to go up and one's not. Are we going to rotate them all year? I don't know. We're going to just keep putting them in situations. But how do I feel? A whole heck of a lot better than I did in January. We're able to put 2 quality groups out there right now and get as much reps and work in as we need to.
All right, so there you have it. 2 comments on the offensive line. The first one, just a lot of coach speak, not trying to say anything too specific. On the second one, caught me off guard. Jeffrey, I don't know what you thought. He said when he first got here, he was looking at those, in particular, those tackle spots and just being like, this is bad. This is not good. And leave it to Dana Holgerson. If you don't like coach speak, Dana Holgerson so far has cut it pretty raw. Mm-hmm. Even when he first got here last year, I remember him ripping into the wide receivers for not blocking well enough, just pointing out right away for how big of guys they are, and Isaiah Nayor and Banks. Not to say it was all their fault. They certainly did much better towards the end of the season. But Dana called him out for that. Just straight up, the blocking was not good enough. The effort level was not good enough. And you heard him kind of call out what he saw early in January right away. Like, this just is not good. And then, of course, he mentions you get Teddy Prohaska back, Gunnar Katula, big deal, add to that depth. Where are you at with this offensive line, especially after hearing Dana talk about it, not feeling great about it early, and now he's at this point where he feels pretty good, even though the younger guys maybe don't look as polished, but they're getting a lot of reps. And to his point, that's just what you need in Power 4 football if you play that offensive line.
Here's the thing. First of all, Dana Holgerson is a Mike Leach product. Yeah. Worked for him at Valdosta State in the 90s and Texas Tech from 2000 to 2007. And that was something I didn't know 100%, and I just looked up to confirm. Mm-hmm. But you can tell both. I mean, listen, both from the way that he runs his offense. I mean, he is an air raid coach, mm-hmm. and frankly, in the way that he conducts himself in interviews. And the one thing that you are never going to have to worry about with Dana Holgerson, for better or for worse, is he giving us his true, honest opinion? Because again, for better or for worse, you're going to know what Dana Holgerson is thinking.
I think it's for better more often than not. Yeah. I really do.
And that's the thing is, to some extent, I appreciate him being like, yeah, in January, this offensive line looked bad. Mm-hmm. And him being that raw with it makes me believe that much more that this is a good set of guys. And, as far as young guys, not looking as strong, I mean, truly, when was the last time you really, and granted, I know offensive linemen as a whole aren't exactly at the forefront of people's minds, but like, when was the last time you can really think of an offensive lineman as a freshman or even really as a sophomore that was a star?
Yeah, you're not going to see that, especially in the Big Ten.
Because I feel like offensive line, I would say really more than any other position, is rep based.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can have a wide receiver or frankly even edge rushers that are just pure raw talent. And obviously, yes, you can have that with O-linemen, but I think most of the time, I mean, more than any other position, when you see an offensive lineman that is, magnificent, it's because they put in the time and effort to get to that spot. Again, wide receivers, I can see, wide receivers that are just good. I mean, just naturally just talented,
If
and
you're
they tear it
fast
up
and quick,
Yeah.
and can get open and can catch the ball, you can play as a rookie.
Exactly. I mean, we saw it with Jeremiah Smith and with mainly with Jeremiah Smith last year, and then Ryan Williams
Mhm.
at Alabama. Like, not to say that they don't put in the work, but like they were day one starters. I
Yep.
mean,
and they struggled with blocking, but
Yeah.
you can scheme out of that. As opposed to if you got an offensive lineman who's struggling with blocking, then he's not going to go out there and play. And to your point, we saw that with Cam Jurgens. Remember, like this was a huge issue during the Scott Frost era.
Mhm.
Was, oh my gosh, he's moving him to center. This guy's just fumbling the ball. He can't get the snap. This guy's terrible. Now he's the center for the Eagles and arguably one of the best centers in the league.
Oh yeah,
And he's going to be on a lot of ballots, to watch ballots. Like he's projected to be just a long-term stay, an all-star kind of guy in the NFL. And it did not look great early on. And it wasn't, at that point he had some size, but the technical aspect, especially at that center position, you're asking a guy to pick up being under center. And then I don't care what you say. I've never played in those stadiums, but I can imagine the intensity of trying to hear that quarterback, especially for a lot of what Nebraska was doing was not a lot under center. And if you play center, you probably love it a lot more when the quarterback's right underneath at center, because you can just know exactly where his hands are and you can fire it into there. There's that cadence, eliminates a lot of risk when you're doing it shotgun a lot and you're a new center and you're waiting for the claps, which by the way, totally in with John Gruden, get rid of the claps. Like it's a bad way to communicate, and it's really easy to just see when that snap's coming if you're just out there clapping your hands all the time. And also, I just think if you can get a quarterback who's not just relying on some claps, who can bark, call commands, it makes them more of a natural, like, I'm going to call out what I'm doing. I'm not just going to rely on these visual cues that we learn as a team. Like you see guys like Aaron Rodgers, great at it, just constantly barking at his players all the way up until the snap. But to go for Slicker Hill, again, just talking about that offensive line, there's no surprise it's going to take a while for those younger guys to ever get there. What you do like hearing, though, is that depth with Teddy Prohaska and getting those guys back healthy, knock on wood, if they can stay healthy, as we did unfortunately lose a tight end that he's just been absolutely just barred down with injuries as of late. We'll talk about him as well. Anything left to add on the offensive line before we do talk about, unfortunately, Mac, tight end for Huskers, who went down?
No, I mean, I think, I think about this quote all the time of Will Campbell from LSU. You get 1 sack a game as a defensive lineman, you're going top 5 in the NFL. You give up 1 sack a game as an offensive lineman, you're working at Amazon. So it's one of those things like, pretty much any other position, I feel like there's room to make mistakes. But offensive linemen, you're never sitting at a football party and going, oh man, that offensive line looks really good. No, you're only noticing when they're making mistakes. And talented players make mistakes. Players with discipline, players with a lot of practice, they don't nearly as much. So, and the offensive line, was never, I mean, center position sometimes, but offensive line at Nebraska, it's never been a position I've been that concerned about. That and, tight end, those are all the positions I felt very comfortable about. But transition into, the bad news we've seen with the Nebraska tight end room.
Yeah. We'll talk about Mac Markway, obviously. For everyone out, went down with another injury. Real quick, before we get off on the offensive line, Donovan Raiola, holdover, the only holdover from that Scott Frost era. Were you, I guess, how much were you locked into that whole process at the time?
Because
you're obviously at Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. As locked in as I could be, because so much was happening so fast. I think was the thing. Like, I mean, everything felt like it happened at warp speed. I mean, I can laugh about this now. I vividly remember my dad was at that Nebraska-Georgia Southern game. And I point blank texted my dad and I said, honestly, there's a part of me that really hopes we just lose this game so we can fire him. And,
well, you got your wish.
Like next morning, 6 a.m., gone. And then just everyone is getting rated out of that coaching staff. And then, end of the season, a lot of people are saying that Mickey Joseph should be the head coach, and then they hire Rule, and then there's uproar about that.
Well,
and
the end of
obviously,
the Mickey Joseph thing too was,
yes, that
we won't go into the
won't
details of it, but like, unfortunate. They talk about the whirlwind of media. It's like okay, well, it wasn't great. You think you have your head coach, and it's like, oh my, what next? You
Yeah.
know, that whole
And,
process.
then even into the Husker, or not the Husker years, the Rule years, we get Satterfield. We think Satterfield's the guy because we did it at South Carolina. And then, there's rumors that it was really Shane Beamer calling the plays, and kind of start to believe that after you see the plays Satterfield drew up. And then you randomly on a random Tuesday in late October, early November, hire a former head coach who retired and came back because he was bored, even though he took Houston to a 13-2 season or 12-2 season a couple years back. Like,
I forgot to mention they got, I shouldn't say got rid of, but still not sure what the heck happened with Casey Thompson, and we want Jeff Sims now.
Yeah, and then the whole Jeff Sims thing.
Out of Georgia Tech, whose turnover ratio was monstrous. It was terrible there. Like, you got exactly what you got, a little bit worse than what was Georgia. But what Georgia Tech was bad.
Well, the thing
very
is,
turnover prone.
Georgia Tech also, Sims fit that Georgia Tech offense because they were
a little better.
They were more triple option.
Yeah.
But
they still had a ton of turnovers.
They didn't truly pass the ball as much. And they had Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Like, I think people forget that because he was, drafted out of Alabama. But, like, they had Jahmyr Gibbs for a few years. And he caused, he was on a tear. And the mistakes that Sims would make, Gibbs would make up for. And I think in just Jeff Sims never fit the Nebraska offense.
I don't know if there was an offense for him to fit. They never found out the identity.
If it was gonna,
very early,
that's the thing is if it was going to be one, it was going to be Georgia Tech. And I never, looking back, I don't understand why he left. He didn't get. I think he got some garbage minutes with Arizona State, which Jeff Sims has more playoff appearances than Nebraska, which is something that I have to live with.
I think he's still playing too. I think he's still with the Sun Devils, which is crazy.
But yeah, the thing is, with Sam Levitt there, he ain't gonna get any playing time. Yeah, he's still with the Sun Devils, but that's
he's just gonna hang out.
Yeah,
that's his career right there.
And that's the thing is Sam Levitt there is a dark horse argument to be made that he is the best returning quarterback in the country.
Yeah, what he did, he almost beat Texas in the playoffs last year. People forget about how good Arizona State was, and then Texas beats Clemson pretty handily, and you're like, okay, well, this should be a sleeper. And then Arizona State, Sam Levitt played incredible.
Yeah,
in that game.
But yeah, then they have Sam Dreyer coming in, who is a very highly touted recruit. So out of the 5 quarterbacks on that roster, Sims is at best 3rd.
He's a locker room veteran guy, probably at this point in his career.
He's bounced around a lot. It's a bummer because I vividly remember in 2021 watching the game versus a very highly ranked North Carolina where he and Jahmyr Gibbs, they looked like they looked like Matthew Stafford and Megatron. They were just balling out. One of the most fun games I have ever seen. I want to see if I can find the stat line from that just out of pure curiosity. Yeah, final score 45-22 against the 21st ranked team in the country. Sims 10 for 13, 112 yards and a touchdown. And
that's his stat line, right? 13 passes. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. 13 passes. But, and then again, it's and I know we're going down a rabbit hole here, but, that's what we do in radio. But then, yeah, you had Jahmyr Gibbs who had, 64 yards. And the thing is, too, Sims also had 128 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. I think that's the big thing, too, is the Huskers didn't let him rush as much, whatever the reason behind that was. And I think that's what caused a lot of problems is with that option style, Sims ran a lot more in that offense.
His best bet was staying at Georgia Tech.
And he didn't do it. And I think part of it is because Jahmyr Gibbs left because they entered the portal at the same year, but it didn't work. It worked out for one of them. It didn't work out for the other.
It's just unfortunate because the one thing I will say about Jeff Sims, so it doesn't sound like we're just, still hating on this guy from so far. Yeah. One thing that does talk about, really actually great leadership guy.
Yeah.
That season was brutal to go through, and you never, ever saw him take it out on anybody but himself.
That's fair. Yeah.
And even after the fact, he's never hated on Nebraska. He's never blamed Nebraska for any of his failures here. And you could be like, well, why would he blame him? You'd be surprised how many players will say things once they're not a part of the university anymore. And Jeff Sims hasn't. He's been honestly again, you feel bad for him because it just worked out so terribly, but he's never put Nebraska in a bad way. The polar opposite of what Scott Frost has done since his departure.
And I think that's the thing that bums me out, honestly, the most is I remember when Jeff Sims, when he announced that he was going to come here, I was ecstatic. I was so excited. And truly, he's such a great individual. And I think that we have to remember that he is a kid. I mean, he is a kid. Like I think he's a little older than me. Call it bad advice, what have you. He shouldn't have left Georgia Tech. I think if he stayed at Georgia Tech, I mean, this is a dude that, probably, makes it on the practice squad somewhere, makes it to the UFL. Like he's never going to be, a first round draft pick, but like he was doing well at Georgia Tech. That triple option style, it fit him. It didn't fit him perfectly, but it fit him better than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, I mean that unless you want to go sign up in the military and join Army.
Yeah,
and run that triple option.
I mean that's the thing is the military.
He'd be electric there, but like obviously,
joining the military is a big decision.
Yeah. So I always think about it, and it's like it's important to remember, which if you really hate a player, it's like it always drives me nuts. And this is a little side. We got to throw the break here, but it's like you'll see guys like Jeff Sims, and you'll see people see the most like blasphemous things, and then you'll see another player who got in a crazy car wreck going 150 miles an hour, and it's like, haha, funny, classic school. And then everyone just moves on. But it's like, it's almost, you get certain points where it's like, what's, if the worst thing this kid did was turn the ball over on the football field, like relax.
Yeah.
He didn't want to turn that ball over just as much as we didn't want him to. If he's a good kid off the field, like that's where, and we go on this rant all the time. You see some of those Husker burners, and it's like, man, what do you do for a living if this is like your mindset watching all the way back to the last hour? Like some of those people being stalkers, like these are kids still.
Yeah, these are like
emotionally, like they might look like adults because they're D1 football players, but you got to realize mentally they're still pretty young. And when you put out this constant putrid just venom, makes no sense.
It's like I see people like tweet at like high school recruits.
Yeah, that one's really crazy. When you get to the high school,
I'm sorry, if you, and literally any other context on the planet, if you as a grown man are tweeting at 17-year-olds, you're weird.
Yeah, the only one that can do that is the school that they're playing, and like the other high schoolers are like, screw you or whatever, and they have their own. That's not great, but that's too immature people. Not immature, but too young, emotional people. It makes sense. But if you're an adult doing that, you gotta figure some things out.
It was like I was calling a football game my sophomore year of college. It was a high school game, and it was I can't remember exactly which schools it was down in Missouri. And nobody here would probably know what that is, but like one was a very, very good team. Like I think went very deep in the state playoffs, and one was, they were not good at football. And like the team, they're down 30, and their freshman sophomore quarterback just isn't playing well. And I hear this dad screaming from the stands, new quarterback. And I'm like, dude, this is a 15-year-old. This is a 14-year-old. Like this kid can't even drive, and you are heckling him. Like what are you doing? Like truthfully, like I don't know.
It's honestly a good question. Like we got through the break, but I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the goal of that is.
No.
Too emotionally attached. That's all I could possibly say.
It's never that deep.
Sports is about community, especially like at the high school level. Relax.
Exactly.
It's like I had a great time in football. I won 0 championships. It's fine.
Exactly.
It doesn't haunt me in my dreams.
No.
With that being said, we'll go ahead. We'll throw it to break here. We'll talk more football on the other side. Jeffrey, Harrison, talk to you guys in a bit.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartments, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also, no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2. Harrison Arens, Jeffrey Callhoun joining you as always. Come Ticket Weeknights. We do still got the Hall of Fame game on, of course. 21-7, Los Angeles Chargers defeating the Detroit Lions. Currently halftime. Like I said, the official kickoff of the NFL season. Even though it is just preseason, it always feels good when you see the Hall of Fame game coming around the corner. Jeffrey, real quick before we get into the tight end room, do you got an NFL team?
I'm a Dolphins fan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan.
Okay.
Sorensen is very, very happy to have another Dolphins fan in the building. I'm much more optimistic about stuff than he is, but that bar is also not very high if you hear him talk about the Dolphins at all. But yes, I'm a Dolphins fan.
I'm a little closer to his 5 wins than what are you?
Honestly, I know I put 14-3 on that board back there.
That's a very hope. I get it though.
No, honestly, but I'm realistically, I mean, this team does have a second place schedule. 10 and I mean,
it doesn't help.
10-3 or 10, not 10-3, 10-7, 9-8 range. Like, I mean,
Okay.
like,
so not a dumpster fire. McDaniels keep
I mean,
his job at the end of the year.
Yeah, because, and I've said this, he's not the problem. Like, I don't understand people saying that he is. Like, he is an offensive mastermind. I mean, that team has just dealt with so many injuries. If anyone needs to be fired, honestly, it needs to be the medical staff there. Like, honestly, if they just got a good medical staff, I think this team would be much better. I mean, it feels like every game, everyone is injured.
Well, you guys were, Dolphins had some opportunities where you're like, this might be the next team. And then unfortunately, Tua got hurt. But I remember I was watching it. It was the Dolphins versus the Ravens. It was in Miami, and they were down by a lot. But this was still before any major Tua injury. And it's like you're watching the Dolphins, and they put up a crazy amount of points to come back and win it.
Yeah.
And it's, they had Waddle, they had Tyreek Hill, and then you're looking at, was it Gesicki still out there at tight end? He might have been.
I think that was his last year.
Yeah, and he was pretty nice though. Like he's one of the more underrated tight. He wasn't like a George Kittle, a Mark Andrews.
He's
a Bauer, but very solid. I'd say above average tight end.
Yeah.
Not a superstar. And then you go look at the running back room. I'm not sure if you guys had Raheem Monster just yet.
I think that was the year before he got there.
Year before,
if I'm remembering.
Either way, there's good core guys. It felt like this team was about to take off, and then the injuries and everything just started falling apart. Because even guys like Waddle, who you might not say like had any major injuries, but it was just like every game he had some sort of back issue, and he was constantly questionable heading into a lot of those games because of back problems. And then he would play for a half and then sit out. So the Dolphins' time, it just feels more unfortunate than it is anything they did. Like the Tua stuff is insane. The fact that they don't I would not pay him unless he honestly chose to wear the marshmallow hat.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know.
You probably have to legally, but it blows my mind that he doesn't put that thing on.
I don't get it. I mean, and here's the thing. Like I don't know how much to talk about this on air. I am a Dolphins fan because of Tua.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's a phenomenal person. I, didn't really have an NFL team. My mom went to the University of Alabama, so I grew up a Bama fan. And he was one of the first college players I really fell in love with. And 2020 draft rolls around, and I kind of just was like, screw it. I'm going wherever he goes. And then they draft Waddle the next year, and then they get Mike McDaniel. And I fall in love with that whole team. But my point is, as much as I love him, he needs to retire. Like, go out with some dignity. Like, the injuries are getting bad. And I've said this, like, when he is healthy, I mean, you saw in the Ravens game, he's a great quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Phenomenal.
But if he tries to push it too hard, it gets bad. I mean, I think the prime example was that Packers game, that Christmas Packers game. He got rocked about halfway through. And like before that hit, I think he had almost a perfect QBR. And then after that hit, I think he had like a 35-40% completion rating percentage and like 3 interceptions. Like, I mean,
clearly
I think,
it rattled.
Yeah, like when you get a concussion, you don't play quarterback as well. Like,
no,
and he's
had their NFL caliber. Like, they're tough as they're never going to be like, yeah, you're right. Like, that's the hard part of it. Like, you don't get to be that NFL competitor without just like without probably battling through a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Like, especially at the high school level, high school kids will play through anything. Then you get to college, they start resting you more. And then at the NFL, it's, it's just that pride kind of takes over. I don't know. I get nervous every time I watch the Dolphins because, like, I am a big Tua fan as well. And I hope he has an amazing career, and I hope nothing happens. I hope he's right and he doesn't need that cap whatsoever. But yeah, every time you watch him, you do have that little bit in the back of your stomach where you're just like uneasy, especially if you see him and he's got his back turned and the edge rusher got around easily. And you're like, I know he's about to get rocked here.
Yeah.
I'd imagine even some of the defenders feel like lay off a little bit when they see they have a clean hit on him because it's like, I don't want to be the reason this guy has to officially pull out of the NFL. I didn't want to spend all the time on the Dolphins. Just want to bring that up since I forgot you're a Dolphins fan.
Do you have an NFL team, Harrison?
Bears.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chicago Bears. Well, don't be. Things are about to change.
That's what they always say.
PFF, whatever you make of PFF, 4th best offensive line in the league. That was supposedly the problem. So if we stink this year, I'm not going to know what to tell you. I'll be generally very, very concerned about the future of my Chicago Bears. But I rant about those guys enough. Let's go back to Husker football. Tight end room. We'll play the audio, but Mac Markway, he goes down. Another brutal injury. He's going to be out for the entire season. He was a nice bright spot because we just heard about him not too long ago. The guy's 250 plus pounds, running over 21 miles an hour. That is a freak of nature.
How much did you say, Wade?
Over 250. 250, 260 range.
Nope. Moving out of the way. Moving
Yeah.
out of the way.
So whatever, if he was going to be the first, starting, I think Lyndon Meyer will probably be tight end 1. He's the senior, the veteran. But it was going to be like Harburg, Markway. I don't know. Either of you guys can be tight end 2, especially knowing that Harburg is probably going to have a little bit more of a unique role if they continue on the direction, which I think they will, based on what they say in the conferences, everything about how they want to utilize his other talents.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a tough loss right there.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you feel about the tight end room right now? And to be fair, not a lot of people, I think a lot of people forgot about Mac Markway because of all the injuries, but he was back. You're hearing great things, and now he's gone. Where are you at with the tight end room?
Listen, I really like the tight end room. I mean, yes, obviously Markway going down is a problem, but you still have Carter Nelson. And there's been a surprising amount of buzz about Heinrich Harburg at tight end. Like, people are saying that he is like good. I mean, like, and I hate to put it that bluntly, but like when he was quarterback for the Huskers, it really felt like a lot more of he's just in because we have no other option. Like, and he was a solid game manager, but he didn't put up big flashes, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding him. But yeah, and then I mean, you got Carter Nelson, you got Luke Lindenmeyer, and then there are some solid backups too. I've heard solid things about Carter Echternaut, but like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like Mac Markway, obviously a huge hit, but you got Carter Nelson, you got Luke Lindenmeyer, and you got Heinrich Harburg. And the other thing too that I think people are forgetting is, how do I word this? In a Dana Holgerson offense, the tight end isn't as important as it would be in the offenses that the Huskers have had in the past. And
maybe it's kind of depends, I guess, because like you can make an argument that the tight ends weren't getting used at all with Satterfield. They were kind of trying, but it was not successful. I mean, how many times did we see Fedoni go out across the middle, and some of it was on Dylan Ray, all right, bad pass. Other times they're struggling to get open. So
that
it's tough because I think you might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong at all, but with Satterfield, like, I just don't know if that tight end room wasn't good enough, but he sure as hell wasn't utilizing it, whether that was a result of injuries or lack of talent or bad coaching. We weren't seeing much from the tight end room under him.
I agree with that, but at the same time, how much were you seeing from anything in the passing game? Like, I mean,
it was all pretty broken.
Exactly. That's the thing. And in a Mike Leach, style offense and an air raid offense, it's going to be a lot of passing, but it's going to be a lot more deep shots. I mean, you saw Anthony Gordon, that guy went undrafted. Dude had like 5,500 yards in his last year at Washington State. Like, you had, was it Anthony Cordero at Mississippi State had like 600 some yards in one game. Like, and those guys like didn't do anything in the NFL. But I mean, who's the last Mike Leach, Dana Holgerson, that tree where you can think of a tight end that really popped off. I think they're going to be used for a lot more blocking plays, and they're still like they're important, but you're not going to be seeing them be as utilized as you would in a successfully run former Husker offense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm looking at just like the passing attempts because Dana took over after UCLA, right?
Yeah, USC was his first game, and then so I mean, I would say his first real game was Wisconsin because I think he got hired like the Tuesday or Wednesday before USC. So like he didn't even have a full week.
I mean, Dylan Rail, so after that USC game, even he's thrown about 35 passes. And then if we just go to some of these games earlier in the year, like Michigan, picked on the wrong year. Just looking if there's like a significant drop where you're just, Dylan Rail. I mean, he's going from about like throwing 28 passes to about 38 passes. So he's certainly putting the ball in the air a lot more. But that's the thing is what's interesting about Dana Holgerson, because you're right, it is more air raid, but it's not like we're just watching Dylan Rail drop back and bomb it every single time. The most intriguing thing about Dana when he took over was this offense is going to be much better at running the ball.
I think that's
like the run game just got so much better.
Yeah.
And that allowed us to set up some of those play call shots to take the deep one. But like a lot of him, and that's why I say maybe the tight ends will be utilized a little bit more. maybe not to the grand scheme of the perfect Satterfield offense that he would have liked, but because the rest of the offense can actually be successful with the run game, taking deep shots, if you have some actions for Harbert, Lindenmeyer, I mean, if your offense has some parts that are actually threatening, those guys will be able to get open. And that was kind of the other part too, where especially when Nebraska was really struggling in the confidence in the middle of the season with Dylan Rail and was kind of wavering, you see teams start loading the box. And if you're a tight end going over for a jag route, the box is loaded, it's going to be hard to get open. Everyone's crammed in there. Their safeties are coming down a little bit too. It's just not going to be as opened up. I think you just open up that entire offense. Maybe we can just finally utilize the tight ends. I mean, that's kind of the key, right? Is you got to utilize the other parts if you're going to have that elite tight end connection. That's why you see really, truly only like the really good quarterbacks have those elite connections with those tight ends. It's because they can make all the other aspects of the games work in order to free up those tight ends and everything they do. So, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. Real quick, we'll throw it to break here. On the way out, though, we'll just go ahead and play you this Dana Holgerson again on losing the tight end, Mac Markway. It's about 2 minutes. We'll play that one for you guys. We'll put the banner up and we'll throw it to break.
Well, I don't know because I've never coached him. I mean, I coached him one day in no pads. You know, I wanted to coach him. He's such a great kid, man. My heart goes out to him. He's been through a lot, you know, and you know, I've got to know him as a human, but I've never coached him. You know, his numbers, his testing numbers from the spring or summer were really good. You know, he ran a corner route, and I looked at it, I was like, something didn't look right on that, you know, and he like kind of double clutched it. And I was like, that didn't look very good. That's not how that route's supposed to happen. You know, I went up to him, I go, you good? He goes, yeah. And he went back in there and he finished practice, you know, and he went through the run through and he's like, something's not right. And so they went and got him an MRI, and, you know, he's done. I feel really bad for him. Was really excited about coaching him because his numbers are like, that's what you look for in a tight end. But, you know, I don't know. You know, we have a good group of tight ends. You know, how big of a blow that is, I don't know. It's always about what's next. You know, I mean, you know, I when I went up to Mac, I was like, you know, this what's next, you know, coach talks about what's next all the time. I mean, in the coaching world, it's always somebody's got next play, next opportunity, next guy up. I mean, there's always that. Coaches, coach roles, what's next, you know, and we talk about it all the time. And I go to Mac, I go, hey man, I really don't know what to say. It's about what's next, you know, and he goes, he's been through it. And so he goes, yeah, I guess it's God's plan, you know? And so, you know, just here for him. But from the tight end perspective room, we still got 6 other guys that all have potential that will get better. They've got better every day, and we're going to be okay at that position. The other part of the what's next is injuries happen. You got to prepare for that at every position, and unfortunately, that was just for that young man.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered. Specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing a family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta Bush with Woods Bros Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text or call me at 402-525-0843. That's 402-525-0843.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in the final segment. Harrison Arens and, of course, Jeffrey Callhoun joining me for the extra hour. You guys can always join in any last-second comments. We still got the Hall of Fame game going on over the brick and mortar. Chargers leading that one, I believe 21-14 last time I checked. But we only got a little bit of time here left. I want to say a little, I mean about 3 minutes at the very most. We'll get something from shorts because we haven't played anything yet. Let me see. I should say Mosey, he's moving from the running back room. We won't play that audio clip from the wide receiver room to the running back room. They did talk about that. We'll play this one right here because I think this one's important. We'll see how good the answer is. I haven't fully listened to it yet. But last year, you saw it, especially with UCLA. The man coverage was awful. I mean, Eric Bieniemy had us cooked on that. And that's where you tip your cap to Eric Bieniemy, but he completely exposed what really is a good group of guys. Buford, Singleton, Hart. Like, you like the core out there. It was just an area where, whether it was coaching or whether it was just kind of the feeling of the season at that point in time, it was pretty grim, especially, at halftime of that UCLA game. You weren't feeling great. And at the start of that UCLA game, second half, you threw a pick right off the bat. So the moods were down. I get that part. But there's a few other games where it's like, man, we're great in zone, really struggling in man. Yeah. So we do got Shorts here practicing on improving against man coverage. And I guess I'm reading this whole thing backwards because obviously wide receiver coach talking about his guys being better against man coverage. I'm trying to, did we struggle that much in man coverage last year? Our wide receivers getting open? Like, certainly Isaiah Nayor, Banks. I'm trying to figure out how much was that on Dylan Raiola and how much was that on the guys not getting open.
I feel like we did better in man coverage. I think just especially having a freshman quarterback, especially in the Big Ten, it's a little bit, I don't know if easier is the right word. I feel like it got
better when Dana took over again.
Yeah, I think you know what? I think it's a little more natural if you are Dylan Raiola to read a man coverage defense than it is a zone coverage. That's just me. I may be misremembering.
I mean, yeah,
but
it's just interesting because sorry to cut you off.
No,
there.
you're chilling. You're chilling.
But it's like you think about the guys struggling to get open against man coverage, but then you go watch Isaiah Nayor in the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl game, and Isaiah Nayor looks awesome. Has no problems at all getting open. And then you really have to start like, it's just bad offense, bad play calling, or were the guys really struggling just getting open? And whatever he was doing towards the end there, which could make the argument Holgorsen, right, was the difference, because those, I'd say Banks and Nayor both got pretty significantly better, or at least looked better when he took over. And then you definitely saw that in the Senior Bowl game for Isaiah Nayor in particular. But real quick, while we got time for it yet, here is Shorts wide receiver coach talking about working with the guys, practicing on getting more open against man coverage.
Just trying to do a lot of more combative stuff, whether that's with each other, with the DBs, or with us as a staff, as coaches, just trying to, get in them face and get them uncomfortable as much as we can. We play in a really good league, and we're going to play some pretty good teams, starting off week 1. But the thing with man is sometimes you're going to be open, sometimes you're going to be not, but we just want to get their mindset to just make the play regardless, if that makes sense. Want to make a lot of contested catches, which they're going to have to do at the next level anyway if they get a shot to go to that one.
So we didn't play a whole lot of Shorts. I'll play some more of that in this next hour here. I want to ask you a quick, Shorts, where are you at with his hire? Obviously out of Kentucky helps a lot. You get Dane Key as well, a little bit of bundle deal there. Wide receiver, it feels like it's an area that's been lacking. Last year, it felt like you got some finally big body wide receiver. You're going to fix that. And it just didn't click. Where are you at with this year's wide receiver room and the coaching? Optimistic, pessimistic, about the same as last year?
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
I
about
think
the same camp.
The whole thing too is, especially with Kentucky, you when you have a Stoops as a head coach, you run more traditional styles.
Yes,
but I feel like Kentucky somehow always manages to get these lost my train of thought, skill players that are almost too good for them. Benny Snell, I think recently is one of the biggest ones that I can think of. And
this is really good at recruiting.
Yeah.
Definitely finding those and they do have a decent area to find some guys that maybe aren't getting looked at as hard.
Exactly. And I think that in a program that it is easier to recruit, I think Nebraska has better recruiting than Kentucky historically. I think it'll be helpful. I don't know a ton about Schwartz, but from what I've seen, when I'm trying to figure out how to word this. When you're able to develop players like that in a program that does not traditionally develop players like that, and then you move to a program that does traditionally develop players like that, you are hopeful. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at here, if that makes sense.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, like you see a guy at a program like that who isn't getting the 4s and 5 stars, is getting the 3 stars, high 3 stars at best, and he's turning those guys into elite talent. That's a pretty good sign of development. Also, if it's not development, great eye for recruiting.
Right.
Both of those are great. If it's both, it's a phenomenal coach that you just found at that position. If it's one, still a pretty good deal, whether it's recruiting or development. You got a guy there. So I am, same thing as you. I think all Husker fans are there. Optimistic, but we need to verify it. Like we've gotten to the point where we just need to verify it on a Saturday before we all fully believe. But nonetheless, I think it is a good time to be at least a little bit optimistic, looking at all the coaches, everything they're saying, and we'll have plenty of more audio to play with these press conferences as we get close to the official start of Husker football. But that's Jeffrey Callhoun. I'm Harrison Arns. Appreciate you guys listening. I'll do another hour next. Don't go anywhere.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers.